Welcome back, Focus Learners. Okay, so in our previous explainers, we've covered some serious ground. I mean, you've already mastered greeting people, introducing names, and even talking about nationalities. You're on an absolute roll. But today, we're taking things to the next level. We're going to start treating Chinese vocabulary like this giant interlocking set of puzzle pieces. And today's explainer, it's all about grabbing those specific pieces that will instantly make your Chinese immensely more practical in the real world. We are jumping right into HSK 1, Lesson 4, numbers 1 through 10, and exactly how to use them to ask about age.
Now, you might be wondering, out of everything we could learn, why prioritize numbers right now? Well, numbers aren't just for doing math. In any new language, numbers are literally the ultimate foundational keys. Once you hold these keys, you immediately unlock the ability to talk about ages, negotiate prices at a market, or exchange phone numbers in everyday conversation. Honestly, getting these down early gives you an incredible amount of real-world communicative power. It's a total game changer. So, here is our roadmap for today's explainer. 1. The core keys. 2. The age formula. 3. The magic particle le. 4. The shifting number 1. And 5. Real-world practice.
All right, let's dive right into Section 1. The core keys, numbers 1 to 10.
Okay, these 10 digits right here are the absolute bedrock of numerical Chinese. I want you to practice them until they're totally 100% automatic. Let's actually go through them together right now and really listen to the tones. 1 is E, 2 is R, 3 is San, 4 is Su, 5 is Wu, 6 is Liu, 7 is Qi, 8 is Ba, 9 is Ju, and 10 is Shi. Go ahead and say them out loud to yourself. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Lock these into your mind because we're going to use them a lot.
Moving right along to Section 2, the age formula. How to ask how old. Now, I want you to think of asking age not as some daunting, complicated grammar rule, but simply as a really logical formula where we just plug our new numbers into the slots. To build this formula, we first need to meet a brand new vocabulary word, G. This is a really handy question word that translates to how many, but there is a very strict rule you've got to remember here. You only use G when you expect the answer to be a small number, specifically a number under 10.
And this brings us to a really fun aha moment about how the Chinese language actually functions. Because in English, we ask the sort of abstract question, how old are you? But in Chinese, you don't literally say that at all. The structure is incredibly practical. You're essentially asking, you, how many years old now? The Chinese translates to, ni ji sui le, ni, ji, sui, le. So that's subject plus how many plus years old. It is just beautifully literal.
And the best part? Answering that question is just as satisfyingly simple. You just take that question formula and plug your number key right into the middle of it. The structure is subject plus number plus sui, which means years old, plus le. For example, to say I am 8 years old, you just say 我8岁了. You just pop that ba right in there. If he's 3 years old, it's 他3岁了. See how wonderfully easy this modular swap is?
But what if you don't want to give an exact number, What if you just want to describe someone's age in a general sense? Well, we can use the adjectives da for big or old, and shell for small or young. Remember that hen rule we talked about from Lesson 3? To say I am old, you literally say I very big, 我很大. And to say she is young, you say she very small, 她很小.
Okay, let's jump to Section 3, adding nuance, the magic of le. This is that tiny bit of grammar magic that separates beginners from folks who sound like true native speakers.
So you've probably noticed this character le just hanging out at the very end of our age questions and answers. Like, ni ji sui le, what is it actually doing? Well, in this specific context, le indicates a change of state or a new situation. Think about it this way. Before this moment, you didn't know their age. Now you're asking about it now. The rule of thumb for HSK 1 is actually super simple. Whenever you ask or state an age, just always put le at the very end. If you forget it, it's grammatically incorrect, and honestly, you're going to sound a little bit like a robot.
Moving right along to Section 4, the shifting number 1. Tone changes for E1. Now please don't panic. Chinese just has a few characters that act a bit like chameleons, naturally shifting their tones depending on the word that comes directly after them. And the number 1 is one of those chameleons.
So here's exactly how this chameleon works. Rule 1. When the number 1, I, is all by itself or at the very end of a word, it stays as a first tone, nice, high, and flat. I. Rule 2. If it comes right before a heavy, falling fourth tone word, it bounces up into a rising second tone. For example, before the fourth tone g, it becomes yi ge. You hear that bounce? Yi ge. And rule 3. If it comes before a first, second, or third tone word, it drops down into a heavy fourth tone. For instance, before the flat first tone tian, it becomes yi tian. Again, do not stress over memorizing this perfectly right this second. Just observe it, listen closely to native speakers, and remember, I loves to change its colors.
Let's pivot to Section 5, Visualizing Characters, Making the Characters Pop. Let's step away from spoken tones for just a second and look at the writing system itself. Look, rote memorization of strokes can be pretty tedious, right? So we're going to use some vivid visual mnemonics to make these characters permanently pop into your memory.
Take the character for age, sui. Now, it looks a little complex at first glance, but let's break it apart. The top half is the radical for mountain, shan, shan. The bottom half is the radical for evening, xi, xi. So to remember age, I want you to paint a mental picture right now. Think of counting the passing years of your life by watching the evening sun slowly set over the top of a mountain. Mountain over evening equals age. It's almost poetic, right?
And I absolutely love the visual logic of our adjectives for big and small. Check this out. Da literally looks like a stick figure person stretching their arms out as wide as possible to show you how big something is. It was this big. On the other hand, xiao, for small, is just a central line representing a person with two tiny little arms just hanging down straight by their sides. Big stretch versus tiny arms. Da and shout. You'll never forget it now.
Finally, Section 6, Real-World Practice, Putting It Together. Huge congratulations, you've successfully gathered all of your building blocks for today. Now it's time to prove your new superpower. We are going to read through a real back-and-forth dialogue together, and I highly encourage you to actually read along with me out loud.
Let's kick off this dialogue. Speaker A opens up the conversation by saying, Ni hao, ni ji sui le. Hello, how old are you? Notice how perfectly they applied the rule here, using ji to ask the question, and ending the thought with our magic particle le.
我10岁了，你呢？你几岁了？ I am 10 years old. And you? How old are you? See how smoothly that number 10, 10, just perfectly swaps right into the formula where the question word ji used to be? It's that perfect modular swap we talked about earlier.
Then speaker A replies, 我8岁了。他是你老师吗？他大吗？
I'm 8 years old. Is she your teacher? Is she old? Okay, did you catch that? Notice how we are brilliantly integrating vocabulary from our previous explainers right here. You should be really proud if you spotted that. We brought back 老师 for teacher and the question particle ma right alongside our brand new adjective da to ask if she is old. It's all connecting.
不，他很小。他不是老师，他是学生。
No, she is very young. She is not a teacher, she is a student. Just a fantastic application of our Hun rule, pairing perfectly with our new adjective, xiao, for young.
You guys have done incredible work today. You now have the exact structure to ask and answer ages, plus some great visual tricks to remember those characters forever. So I'm going to leave you with a quick homework challenge to keep your brain working. Translate and answer this question in your head. 我6岁了，我很大吗? Which means, I am 6 years old. Am I very old? I want you to practice writing your new characters and reciting those numbers 1 to 10 while you walk around today. Make it a habit, because next time we are fully unlocking numbers 11 through 99 and learning how to exchange phone numbers like a pro. The only question is, are you ready? I'll see you in the next explainer.